right, welcome back for our little golf coverage. We're going to switch it up,
Mhm.
switch gears here. We have on my good friend Adam Philo, Mr. Philo, for those of
Huh.
you following along that are part of the Lion City schools. Um, Philo here brings a little bit of way more professionalism to the golf scene than I do. I like to tell people I like to play golf. Doesn't mean I'm good at golf. But Philo here played golf at Mount Union,
Mm.
the University of Mount Union, and did pretty well there. I'll let you brag about yourself if you want, but I'm sure you don't necessarily want to do that. But we're gonna have a little Masters conversation here. We got Masters coming up here. It's on Thursday, starting off on Thursday, and trying to make the cut and all the guys there. But um, we're just gonna bounce some ideas off of Philo here, see what he thinks, kind of get his opinion on a lot of golf stuff. I know once you hit a certain age, golf becomes more and more fun. And um,
Yeah.
definitely, I wish I would have played it a lot more in high school
Mhm.
and in college instead of whatever else other shenanigans I was getting into. But yeah, um, see what kind of knowledge you can drop on us here. So
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for having me on. Looking
yeah,
forward to it.
well, we
Let's get into
appreciate
it.
it. All right, so let's start off. You played at University of Mount Union.
Mhm.
What was that like? What was it playing at a kind of a small D3 school?
Right.
But what was that like playing
Mhm.
collegiate golf?
It was a lot of fun. But yeah, once again, thanks for having me on. Um, yeah, I'm definitely a washed former collegiate golfer now. I don't play as much as I used to back in the day. Before Mount, I actually used to play at the University of Southern Indiana. I think I'm actually, yeah, I'm actually wearing it right now. But I used to play there my first year and a half of college, which is like a small D1 school. I played collegiate golf there, and I transferred to Mount in spring of 2020 and played college golf there. So playing college golf is a lot of fun, especially at Mount. I really enjoyed it. Because D3 sports is like kind of where it's at in a way because it's serious, but it's also not that serious. You can make a lot of friends, have some fun, and also get to compete against other schools. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, kind of piggybacking off of your D3 thing. I went to Malone to play baseball, and
Mhm.
I kind of would agree with that. We had some guys there that got drafted out of
Yeah.
the teams that I played with, and then but you also had guys who probably had no they didn't belong there.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
it was kind of an interesting mix. You make a lot of friends, you
Mhm.
have some good memories with those guys, but at the same time, it's like, you know, uh, D2, D3, it's a lot of fun. I would agree with
Mhm.
that. Yeah. I got the same vibe from sports, kind of in the same experience. Um, so so when we look at golf, like I grew up playing with like my grandpa and stuff, and throughout
Oh,
high school I'd play, and my grandpa was kind of the one that taught me how to play. And but there's definitely a threshold, and again, going piggybacking off of baseball and the other sports that I played. Once you get to that collegiate level, there's just a level of understanding of sports that you gain that you just don't get taught at the high school level. So what was
right.
it at the college level that helped shape your game to make you as good as you are or were, come
Mhm.
in college or coming out of college?
Yeah. Going off that first part you said, that's what I love about golf so much is that it literally can be for anyone. So it can be for, former college athletes of any sport that want to hang out with their buddies and are like, hey, what can we do to hang out? Let's go golfing. Or it's like your grandpa, like you said, or your dad, or whoever. So I like how there's so much levels to it of golf, like you said. But once you get to the collegiate level, it definitely becomes a different beast. And a lot of it, I feel like you said, what it takes to get to the next level, a lot of it's just mentality. I feel like it's like, well, into the fact that like golf is just a very mental game, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know.
You see the guys on tour, and there are definitely some guys that have like the perfect swing, like
All right.
Ludwig Oberg or Hideki Matsuyama. But we've also seen plenty of people do it with like a weird swing or an unorthodox way, and like, or like someone like John Daly who just has like pure talent. And
Right.
like, I feel like a big thing that they have is just like that, the mental, I don't know what you call it. That's like the mental drive, I guess, to
Right.
keep practicing, to keep working into how to golf under pressure, I guess. If that makes
Okay.
sense.
So you would say the mental game was what changed the most for you going into
Yeah,
college, yeah.
I would say.
Was there like and I'm kinda going off script here, but like
Mhm.
was there something specifically that you did in high school that when you got to college you're like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't do that."
Um,
I could imagine
yeah,
myself playing in high school and it'd be like me just
yeah.
trying to rip 300-yard drives
Oh,
every, you know.
that's exactly where I
Yeah.
was going, was the aggression, is, like, just learning when not to be aggressive.
Okay.
So, in high school golf, if I were to do something like double bogey a hole or bogey a hole, I'm instantly thinking, like, "How can I get this back? Like, where can I get a birdie?" Like, I got birdie the next hole, "Oh, we got a par 5 coming up, I have to birdie that." But then when you get to college level, you realize that kind of pars are your friends, or even when
Yeah.
I get in trouble, if I slice one the tee off the tee, I'm like, how can I make bogey or better from here? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just having that mentality that the round of golf is a marathon and it's not like I need one hero shot to solve it,
Sure.
because you might get that hero shot, but in reality, you're probably going to just screw up more and just end up chasing it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can relate to that. Those snowmen come pretty quick.
Oof. Yeah. Snowmen. Hate those.
All right. So, what was the biggest challenge for you as a collegiate golfer?
Um, That's a good question. Challenge. A lot of it is time management, I
Hmm.
guess, because golf is a sport that requires a lot of time. And in college, you're very busy, obviously, with classes and then social life and whatever else is going on. You know what I mean? So finding the
Yeah.
time to keep yourself disciplined and go to the range, put in those hour on the putting green. And then if you guys have an away match that's a couple hours away or whatever it might be, and your entire weekend's gone. So I feel like one, time management, and two, self-discipline. Because something else that I didn't realize once I got to college, at least for the golf aspect, it's actually a lot different than high school in terms of like structured. So like high school, it's like, all right, we'll see you out there at 3:30. We're gonna be there hour and a half working
Yeah.
on this. A lot of time we played college golf, it was like, all right, well, Monday and Tuesdays on your own, just practice whatever, and we'll see you Wednesday for qualifying, and then we travel Friday.
Yeah.
So like, if you want, you could just skip Monday, Tuesday, sometimes even at Mount, which was kind of interesting. But the people that played are the people that
Right.
had the time management to get practice in and kept working on their
Right.
game.
Yeah. No, that was.
Mm,
I would definitely say I know. e- School is a lot different at the college level
mhm,
too, and so like you have your classes spread out a whole lot more. And a lot of the classes, like the core classes, are in the morning,
yeah,
and you do have more time, and they do expect you to be more responsible of your time, and so um, they kind of set you up with a plan, and if you follow that plan, you kind of see that success in your game,
mhm, mhm,
and I definitely think that was one thing. I being a going from high school baseball to collegiate baseball, that was definitely something where I always had that drive in high school,
yeah,
but you're around 15 other guys that are just playing high school baseball, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And so once you get around a group of guys that's like we're all driven, it becomes a little bit easier, a little more motivated. So
mhm,
I think that kind of
yeah. That
matches
makes
what you're
sense.
saying. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So you kind of you already alluded to the mental approach to the game, and that's definitely
yeah,
something that we're still working on, but we'll see
yeah,
how that goes.
yeah.
um. All right. A little easier question here. What's your favorite course in Ohio?
Favorite course in Ohio? That's a good question. Also, trying to think. So I've gotten to play some nice courses in Ohio. So I've gotten to play Firestone South, which
Okay.
was a lot of fun. I don't know if I have a number one. I'm just trying to think of top like some courses I've played that I've really enjoyed. I played Shady Hollow in Jackson, which is
Mhm.
a country club that I think is a really nice course. But I'm gonna have to go with my homer answer here and just say Chippewa Golf Club.
So,
So
yeah, Chippewa is, like,
yeah.
ranked. I've read a couple articles where it's, like, ranked top in the nation for public
Mhm.
golf courses. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
And
I
Chippewa is probably a solid 3-minute drive down the road for me.
Yeah,
I've practically lived there since, like, the age of 4, so
yeah,
I worked there when I was 16, worked there in the summer, so for me, it's, like, my second home, and like you said, the fact that it's such a nice course and such highly rated, I'm so spoiled,
yeah.
and it's
That's
so awesome, of course.
that'd be lucky. Now around here, in the Alliance area,
Oh, cool, yeah.
if you had to pick somewhere in Stark County, now,
Right, sorry, I forgot I was saying around here. Okay, let's see, Stark County,
well, no, no, no. I
um
asked you in Ohio, so
oh, okay,
you answered the
perfect.
question.
Okay,
Chippewa
gotcha.
would have been one of my picks as well.
Mhm,
I mean
mhm,
Firestone South. How can you beat that? But
yeah,
for those
trying
that
to
don't
think.
know, they still play. What is it, the Bridgestone?
Yeah, the Bridgestone senior players, they play at
Yeah,
Firestone, yeah.
yeah.
It
So
used to be the pros were there, and Tiger would I think he won
mhm.
there 6 times or 4
Yeah,
times,
it's the
so
NEC.
yeah. Yeah, and they got rid of it, and it's
Yeah.
like a lot of pros wanted to come back, and there's rumors that maybe they'll have, like, a PGA championship there, like, in 2030 something maybe, 'cause just so
Okay.
many pros wanted to come back, so that'd
Yeah.
be so cool for Ohio if they
Yeah.
did
That
do
oh,
that.
that would be huge.
Yeah.
Um.
But you were saying sorry,
Yeah.
in the
Let's
local area
for
yeah.
the more local people. What's your favorite one to play?
Man, I'm gonna go with the homer answer again and just say Tannenhoff, just because that's where Mount played, and we called it Tannenhoff International for whatever reason, and I honestly enjoy Tannenhoff. So we played tournaments out there, and I've seen a lot of people who think they're the big dog of college golf. They're like, "Oh, I'm the best
Mhm.
golfer ever," and they go out and fire like a 83 or something, which was above what they're expecting.
Right.
Because
Oh,
Tannenhoff can
that's
sneak up on you.
yeah.
Like, they have some gross pin locations they
Uh
can
huh.
throw in the back of the green, and it's always kept in really good shape, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Tannenhoff, I
I
just
know
really enjoy.
with yeah, kind of how boxed in it is too. There's a couple holes that if you're not right down the center, you're playing through a ton of trees.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
they've I worked there for a couple years, and they've kind of fixed up a couple holes and kind of
mhm,
rearranged some tee boxes. So I'm interested to see what
mm.
that looks like this year.
Yeah, I haven't played hole 9 since they've changed it,
Yeah,
so that'll be interesting to see.
I played it. It's
Mhm,
from the tips. It's pretty tough. It's a longer
hmm,
shot. Yeah, it's a weird shot, but
yeah.
for the most part, it's pretty much the same.
What would
Just
you say your answer would be for favorite course in the area?
uh, I've played Glenmore, and it's pretty nice.
Oh, yeah, it's a good answer.
Glenmore's really nice. Brookside's really. I mean, that one's up
Mm,
there too, but that's a country
yeah,
club.
mhm.
Not a lot of people would have access to that.
Yeah, I've never even got the chance to play there. It's really exclusive
Yeah,
for
it's
Brookside.
um, I worked like in college. I worked at Congress Lake,
Mhm,
and that one, it's a nice like hidden course, but at the same time, it's so hilly that
uh-huh,
it's hard to hit a decent drive, and it's hard to see certain locations, and I just think
mhm,
that it was tough to play. So
yeah,
that one was more hard to play. I didn't mind it, um, but yeah, I think Tannenhoff, at least for a beginning golfer, that's a really good one. There's a lot of straight shots.
mhm,
There's a lot of trees,
yeah.
but there's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
straight shots. Sable Creek is also
Oh,
pretty
that's a good
good.
one. Yeah,
I
it's
think that's a
27 holes, right?
yeah, it's a big
Yeah,
course. They're back. I guess it's not back. It's like they're maroons, I believe.
mhm,
I think that they're like they almost have it's newer. It's the newer side, so there's not a lot of trees out there. It used to be just cornfield, so
mhm,
it's kind of almost like a links course. It's just wide
hmm,
open, just big. So I don't mind playing that
yeah.
one. I can find my ball a little easier there.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, well, all right. Um, let's kind of do let's do our masters talk. Let's
okay,
kind of move on to that.
mhm,
I'm gonna bounce some more things off your head. So now we're
yeah,
going from somebody who played collegiate golf, knows collegiate golf, to kind of their take on what we're watching. We as average Joes who like to kind of watch your
yeah,
Brooks Koepkas, your Rory McIlroys,
sure,
and those guys who just like light everything up. Kind of teach us some stuff maybe
yeah.
as to what we are watching and why we're watching it. But um, what is your favorite thing about the Masters? What is it that
I just
entices you?
Yeah, I love Masters weekend as a whole. For me, it's one of my top probably 3 favorite sporting weekends of the year. So, my favorite part of the Masters weekend, or just the Masters in general, is just doing literally nothing but watching the Masters all weekend. So it's like I'm already planning it out. Like, okay,
Yeah.
uh, it's like the way they have the Masters app now is so crazy. Also, you can watch like every single shot on the range. You can be like, oh, how's Brooks hitting it on the range and
Yeah.
stuff. If you're a real sicko and want to get into it, and then you can see like the featured pairings, all this other stuff. So
I've
yeah, I
heard
love
there's some
just.
pretty interesting pairings this year.
Oh yeah, we should take a look at those at some
Oh, well,
point.
we're
But there's.
that's kinda part of my,
Oh, okay,
yeah, like, when
gotcha.
we go to do our, like, kinda pick 'em. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
definitely that plays a factor in it, but
Okay,
we'll
perfect.
kinda talk
Yeah, I
about
guess
that.
I just love everything about the Masters. Like I said, I can't get enough. It's
Yeah.
gonna be my entire weekend, and I'll like unshamefully say that my fitness tracker might not get above like 500 steps for the entire weekend. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna be glued to the
Oh, I
couch.
know, and there's it's just nonstop, and that's the thing about golf too. If you're into
Mhm.
watching it, like in the summer when there's nothing
Oh
else
yeah.
on,
Mhm.
baseball, but,
Right.
um, yeah, I mean, like, if one guy, hits a shot and they just pan over to,
Mhm.
they just change scenes
Yes.
over to the next guy and he's hitting
Yeah.
his shot or putting or something, so
The Saturday morning Masters nap is one of the peak naps also when you stayed up Friday and whatever, and then
right.
you're like Saturday you got the Masters on, it's so peaceful with all the music and
Yeah.
everything. You could it's a perfect nap.
Yeah. Yeah. The little Masters intro and
Yeah.
yeah. About 500
Yeah.
shots going down the driveway and some
Oh
azaleas are in
yeah.
bloom and, all that. Yeah, that's my favorite part is just the whole, like, they have the little intro sound and
Mhm.
they have you're going down the driveway and all the trees and then the azaleas, all the shots. It's
Yeah.
just like, it feels like spring. Like it's
Mhm.
officially here
Yeah.
with the Masters. Um, I think that it's like one of the biggest, I mean, it is kinda funny, like, some of these guys just, like, hang their hat on the first golf major of the year, and then just, like,
Yeah.
kinda just throw away the rest of the season. I
Definitely.
mean if you look at Brooks Koepka, I mean, that's basically what he
Yeah.
does, is, like,
Yeah.
if he doesn't win the Masters, he's going after the US Open, and then after that, he's like, well, I have enough money in the bank that
Yeah.
just kinda let it go."
Yeah, I guess we should say for the people that don't follow golf that closely, there's 4, like, majors, what they
Right.
consider the majors, right? So,
The
like,
Grand
what was
Slam.
it? Yeah, so we got what? The Masters, US Open, the Open or the British Open,
Right.
and then, the PGA Championship. So, like you said, there's guys that like Brooks who will just literally be like, "Hey, I just care about winning majors." It's
Yep.
like that Kobe mentality. I don't care about winning the Fortnite Open in
Right.
Texas or whatever it is. Like, I'm here to
The
win the
waste
Masters.
management where you got guys without a shirt on running through the
Yeah, which
putting
is
green.
fun for us as fans,
Right,
but
yeah, yeah.
for
Right,
yeah.
for Brooks Koepka, he's like, "I don't wanna need to
Mhm.
waste my time with that."
Yeah.
Okay. So, so this is actually, it ties into the college conversation too. What's
Mhm.
and you might not be able to answer this very well, but
Okay.
maybe there's some
Okay.
things that you can notice or you do notice, you're like, "Man, I never went to that level." What are some things that are
Yeah.
like, "All right, this was college, which is another level
Mhm.
than high school and what the
Mhm.
average Joe is kind of used to."
Yeah.
When you get to that pro level,
Yeah.
what is that next gear? Like
Wow.
like
Yeah, it's a completely different gear, like you're saying. So if you go to somewhere, like your local course, and you see your scratch golfer, like the difference between someone that just started golfing and a scratch golfer is probably close to the difference between a scratch and a pro. Because I mean, my pro told me growing up that like if you want to be a pro golfer, those guys are like consistently shooting 65 or better at their home course, like on any given day. It's like, oh, Saturday morning, let's go out and play, shoot 63, right? So because then they're going out there on tour, and if somebody shoots like two over, we're like, oh my gosh, that was the
right,
worst round ever. And like if I
right.
shot two over at Augusta National, I'd be like, oh, that was the
The but
round of my life. Like, let's
right.
go two over at
Yeah,
Augusta National.
yeah.
So I guess the main thing is just um, how like when I guess the margin of error. I guess so. Like when I shoot a golf ball, or when most people shoot, it's like a shotgun. Like, all right, where is my ball going to go? Somewhere in this area.
Mhm.
Their worst shot is a lot better than our worst shot. If
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel
No,
like it's the biggest thing. So.
yeah, we watch it and I mean, you watch the coolest thing that's evolved since I was a kid is like the shot tracer too.
Oh yeah.
And
Hmm.
like even like 6 or 7 years ago it wasn't even a thing, but the ball comes off and those guys know, like, all right, I need to I mean, and that most of them are they like to draw their shots or they
Mhm.
like to fade their shots. And
Yeah.
some of these guys are like, all right, well, I'm going to hit a high fade or I'm going to hit a high draw or I'm going to hit a low it's their
Mhm.
ability to do all those things too. Like, and
Yeah.
then, like you said, put it in a 25-yard circle
Yeah.
is just,
Yeah.
I
And the
guess,
how far they hit it also, I guess, is one thing I didn't mention. So, those guys bomb the ball. It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they're hitting 7 irons from, like, 190 and stuff, and, like, it's crazy.
Bryson DeChambeau, like, I mean, what is he up to
Yeah.
now? Like 350 off his drives? Like
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
it's just insane. I mean, they're
Yeah, and there's
literally talking about changing the game of
Mhm.
golf around these guys
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, they're gonna nerf the golf balls basically because these guys are hitting it too far, and they just can't make the courses any
Oh,
longer, which is
they're
crazy.
they're they're hitting a par 5 into a chip shot. So it's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So that's what I if if you didn't come up with it, that's what I was gonna
Mhm.
say
Hmm.
was
Yeah.
that I think that they just crush the ball. Like
Yeah, and that's just
ultimately,
such an advantage.
like a scratch golfer,
Mhm.
you'd say their margin of error is they might be 2 under one day or 2 above the next day,
Yeah.
and, it's a little wider, but with these guys, it's just they are just mashing the
Mhm.
ball,
Yeah.
if they
And
play.
mashing the ball's so big. Like, if you have a pitching wedge in versus even, like, an 8 iron, like,
Mhm,
that's night and day difference. Like,
yeah,
it's
you're
such a big difference.
talking about, like, how far the ball's gonna roll after it hits the ground and which direction it's gonna roll, and yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's how far they're hitting, not just their drivers, but also the small stuff, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, alright, so let's get into, I know you and I had both talked, like, and you said some things that you wanted to discuss, and so it's
Yeah.
kind of the masters talk, our masters talk here.
Yeah.
Let's get into that side of it. So
Mhm.
who's your favorites coming into this?
Favorites. So not who I'm picking, just who I think,
Yeah,
like, should be considered the
who
favorites
who should
or
be who yeah, who should show up on Thursday
right.
through Sunday?
Well, I feel like you have to start the conversation with Scotty Scheffler. So, defending master champion, you just can't start without him. Right now, I think is the longest drought between wins in the last 2 years for him, and it's 6 starts. So, like, he just consistently winning at, like, a whatever it is, a ridiculous clip, like a 17% clip. So, you just have to talk about Scotty if you're gonna talk about favorites. Um Someone else I'm interested to see is Rory. So you talked about the Grand Slam earlier, winning all 4 majors.
Right.
This is all Rory needs to win the Grand Slam.
Yep.
So that's always gonna be a storyline. Can Rory finally get it done?
You didn't even make the cut
Um,
last year.
right. So the thing about the Masters that's so cool is like it's the same course every year.
Right.
So you have your guys, you're like, oh, he always shows up at Augusta. Or then
Right.
someone like Rory, it's like, oh, he always chokes at Augusta.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see like will he finally do it?
Yeah.
I would still have him as a favorite, even
Right.
though uh,
I can agree
yeah,
with
and then
that one.
I would say those 2 are kind of in a class ahead, and then just, like, naming some guys I wrote down, like Ludwig Oberg, Collin Morikawa, Xander, and then maybe throw Bryson in that category also as,
Mhm.
like, a favorite to win
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you know, I would agree with all those. I think that, Brooks Koepka,
Yeah,
throw him in there too because like I
mhm,
said, like, it just seems like his focus is only on those big, like,
yeah,
major events, but
mhm,
I I I would say Scotty. You have to put Scotty in
yeah,
there. I think you have to put Rory in there just because he's coming off the Players and he
mhm,
is golfing well right now.
yeah,
I mean, he's the world number 2, so you have to put respect on his name in that regard, but,
yeah.
um,
Going
Bryson
off
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say going off your Brooks real quick. He said something really interesting that ties back to our mentality conversation earlier. And he said basically at a major, he feels like he only needs to beat about 10 golfers, which is kind of crazy because I think there's like 108 or something like that in the
Yeah,
field. But he's like, well, I look at it that half the field gets cut after 2 days, the bottom half. So
right,
really, I have to beat 50. And then he was just breaking it down. He was like, half those people are going to get nervous and fall apart. And then half that squad within that are just not going to have their golf game that day. And basically, he's like, there's only going to be about 6 or 7 guys that are going to have their A game. He's like, so if I can just beat those six or
Yeah,
seven guys,
that's
so
a
like it's
good way
just
to
the
look at it.
mentality he has. He's like, I'm going to have my A game. You know what I mean? And um, just having that superior mentality, like you said, just helps him show up in the majors.
Yeah,
But
that's an interesting point. Bryson interests me. He's
mhm,
been doing a lot more of the I don't know if he's trying to like improve his brand or something. You know, like
yeah,
the social media, like golfing with
hmm,
Donald Trump or
yeah,
John Daly or those kinds of things. But I honestly I think he's trying to improve his brand, which I think he's done a pretty good job at
yeah. Oh,
because
he
like
definitely has.
between him and Brooks, that was a heated rivalry.
Yeah, was that
Um
all fake for clicks or what was that? Because they went from rivals to friends or whatever it is now. What do
yeah,
you think?
I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah,
It might have been for clicks, but
yeah,
I've heard I've heard Brooks talk a lot, and it didn't sound like they were good buddies.
yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
know.
I'm a big fan of the Bryson content, though. Not to go on a side rant real quick, but I get to meet him at the U.S. Open. Actually, it was completely random. I was at the U.S. Open last year in Pinehurst, North Carolina, and I was walking out, and Bryson already finished on Friday evening, and he was out on the par 3 15 recording with NBC doing like some content
Oh,
thing, and he
really?
was like bouncing a ball in his club. And there was nobody around him because it was at like 7 p.m. and people didn't even realize it was Bryson. Like people were just walking about, and I went there and stood by him, and then there was only like two of us there. And then after the interview, he came up and shook all of our hands and he signed my hat. So now I have no choice but to
Yeah,
be kind
you
of
gotta
like a
like him.
Bryson fan after he kind of introduced
Yeah.
himself basically to us. So
No,
I
yeah,
guess some
he's
bias.
I am a fan of his stuff too. I think he's done some interesting things, made golf a little more interesting than,
Hmm.
just hitting like what he was doing 300-yard bombs, plus yard bombs.
Yeah,
So, um all right. So that's a good list of favorites.
yeah,
I know we had brought up some other stuff. Who do
yeah.
you think who's some long shots to win it possibly?
Gotcha. Yeah, so I got 2 of them I wanna throw at you. The first one is Corey Connors. He's someone that's like a long, long shot. He's a long shot to be in the list of name of long shots, but he talk about people that always play well at the Masters. I feel like he always plays well there. He's a Kent State guy, so he's a local guy. Well, he's Canadian, but he went to Kent State, local guy. I just think he always plays well there. I think he's really consistent and he's not like a fan favorite. He's a very level guy, doesn't get too excited, doesn't get too down on himself.
Right.
And someone steady like that, if people start getting nervous and falling apart, I mean, he's got third there once or twice. So I could see Corey Connors. And
Okay.
then my other one I want to throw at you is Patrick Cantley.
Okay.
I just feel like he can make a lot of putts, and making putts at the Masters
Right.
goes a long ways. So
No, he's been in the big moments before too, so
yeah,
be good. Those are two good ones. I didn't have anybody. I mean,
yeah.
you're definitely you probably watch a lot more golf than I do. You know,
Well, I say that, then they're gonna miss the cut
eh,
and shoot 10 over, so
yeah,
it won't matter, but
right. Yeah. So um I've heard a lot of guys talk, but it's hard like you said, it's hard to tell because this is such a it's weird when you have your World Series at the beginning of the year.
yeah,
So some of these
yeah,
guys need 1 or 2 masters to get an idea of what the field looks like and
yeah,
what their competition is and also to get used to, being under that pressure and
mhm.
to have it at the beginning of the year. This is I
Yeah, it's crazy, actually, no
it's the
sport does it like
the
you said.
hardest one to win,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And I'm sure that's why they do it up as much as they do. All
mhm.
right, so last one, who's your winner? Who you throwing your money down on?
I mean, you were asking me. I mean, like you said, we kinda talked about it before, and I was thinking even, like, a minute before we started this, like, I still don't know who I'm gonna say my winner is.
Okay.
Um, but I know now, sorry, I'm gonna throw something out there, I'm gonna say it, but I don't wanna say Scotty because I don't wanna take the easy option because I feel
Mhm.
like I said, he's at a whole different level.
Right.
I'd love to see Rory, but, if, like, the Martians had the beam pointing at the Earth, I don't know if I would trust Rory as my pick to win it. So I'm gonna go with, Xander Schauffele, the Cali boy.
Okay.
Um, I think he plays really well to Gus. I think he has 2 second places. He won an Olympic gold medal, and he's a British Open champion. Um, so he proved he can get it done in the big events, and just like Xander this week for whatever reason.
Yeah, I
So
saw his name pop up a lot. There's a lot of pro analysis that liked him as
mhm,
well. So that'd be a
mhm,
good one. I mean, he's probably he I think top 3 or 4. I think some people
hmm,
had him in their top
yeah,
5, so,
yeah.
he's definitely worth a pick. I personally for whatever reason, I think this is the year Rory gets it done.
Ooh, I like that
I
though.
I
I like
just
that.
I he and here's my train of thought. He got paired up with Scheffler and, I wanna say
It might be Xander.
I think it is Xander, and,
Yeah, I think it is. It's Scotty, Xander, and Rory. That's an insane group. That's
so
probably 3
but
favorites.
that yeah, but that's I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know, iron sharpens iron, right? So,
Yeah,
like,
right.
it's whichever one it's a good way to gauge yourself, like, "Okay,
Mhm.
he's par and I need to par," like, that kinda stuff,
Yeah.
or whatever the mental approach is there.
And when
Um,
you're playing good golf together, like, sometimes you play well, like, if you're playing with your buddies and you're all hot, like,
sure.
or you know what I mean?
It's like
Or
a
if you're playing with
rabbit
someone who's
track.
yeah, exactly. If you're
Yeah,
playing with someone who's having their worst round of their life and they're cussing and they're 20 over, you're like, "This guy," you know what I mean? It's messing you up. So, like you said, maybe iron sharpens iron
yeah,
with
that's
Rory.
where I think, like, if he's seeing good competition throughout the whole thing, maybe his shots are more calculated and stuff like that rather than,
Mhm.
"I'm gonna try and fly this," or, "I'm gonna try and bend this corner." Like I really think that he might have a good shot this year. So I'm
I
I'm
think
I'm
you're
gonna
right.
I'm gonna root for him.
Yeah, I like
So
that.
okay, we're gonna go through a couple final thoughts here.
Right.
So we have our favorites, our pick to win, our long shot.
Mhm.
Um, there's a couple things they do at the Masters
Yeah,
that's unique as well, and that the one is the Masters dinner. And I know you
yeah,
had brought this up as well, but
yeah.
the Masters dinner last year,
Mhm.
the story was that um, was it Schefter? It was too hot for some of the older guys,
Yes.
and they got
Yeah.
like indigestion and like
Yeah.
didn't like what he yeah.
Yeah,
So
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 it
he turned
was
it
some kinda
down.
soup or something?
It's like
Yeah, and, like,
chili, I
there's
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what is the menu this year? Do you have it in front of
I
you?
pulled it up at one
Yeah,
point.
so what is it?
Um, let's see here if I still have it.
But while you're pulling it up, yeah, so for people that don't know, like, the Masters dinner, like you said, so all the past champions, you have to be a past champion to go to that dinner. So it's a very small room, only, like, 40 people plus the board of the Masters are there. So, past Masters champion, like, a lot of them are, like, older guys, or they're guys that won the '90s, and like you
Right.
said, they were having Scotty's soup, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and had just a little bit of kick to it, and they said how there's, like, stories of I don't even know,
Like
it
running
was
the
so
bathroom.
redacted by the
Yeah. Oh, it's
Masters,
just
like, they're probably like, "I don't even wanna know what's going
yeah.
on," like, it was
Right.
probably but this
It
old
was a
guy's
big story for something that didn't
yeah.
need to be big. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So appetizers are cheeseburger sliders
Mm,
served Scotty style. I don't know what that
okay.
means.
Yeah.
Firecracker shrimp. So this is
Ooh.
like it sounds kind of like you ever been to like Bonefish Grill?
Yeah, yeah, it's
They
kinda
have
that,
like
yeah.
a bang bang shrimp. It's like sweet Thai chili and sriracha mayo. So
Okay.
that could mess you up.
Yeah.
Papa Chef's meatball and ravioli bites.
Oh, okay.
Um, the first course is Texas style chili. So I think that's what it
Mm,
was originally.
yeah.
Cheddar cheese, jalapenos, corn chips.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
for a master's dinner, that's like a $4 meal right there.
Yeah.
Um, and then the main course is wood-fired cowboy ribeye, blackened redfish,
Okay.
dessert, warm chocolate chip skillet cookie. So there you go.
Wow, that's a good menu.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
So what would your master's dinner be then?
Oh shoot. Uh, well
Not to put you on the spot, I mean, there's a lot.
now that they talked about it, bang bang shrimp is good.
That
So like
is
that,
really good.
I don't if I'll give a shout out to Bonefish Grill right now. That stuff is delicious.
Yeah.
Um, I would have to go with like a T-bone steak,
Okay.
like T-bone steak and some mashed potatoes, and I don't know that I just love a good steak, like cooked well. Is just
Oh, yeah. Can't beat it.
no.
Mm.
What about you?
I was trying to think about it also because, like you said, we were discussing it off air, and even then, I still don't know. But I thought going off the spicy thing, I thought it'd be kind of funny to like troll in a way, just their tradition, and like maybe it's like, what if I just got like Taco Bell and
Uh,
we got like $5,000 worth of Taco Bell catered there just to see everyone's reaction. I think that'd
some
be kind of a good
box of Fruity
Masters move.
Pebbles for appetizer.
Yeah, just have the worst possible
Yeah,
menu and just
right.
sit down
Ramen
to
noodles.
people. Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah,
But
that's a good one.
Scotty's menu is probably one of the best, like you said, though. It's got a lot of good stuff on
Yeah,
there.
that was some pretty good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I got two more questions for you. You're playing in the
Okay.
Masters. It's a scramble.
Mhm.
Who are you taking
Ooh,
with you?
how many people do I get?
You get
4 so
you and
4?
3.
Okay, and I can pick anyone in the entire
Any
world,
ever.
at their
All
current status right now.
all time. Best.
All time? All time, wow, this is a very loaded question. I would just if I could, like, somehow grab Prime Tiger and teleport him to now, definitely
1997 Tiger.
yeah, just
Red
a
shirt.
definitely
Sunday red.
definitely
Yep.
Tiger. Speaking of Tiger, honestly, I'd probably take if it's a scramble, I might grab Phil Mickelson also, because he's just a guy that bombs it, hits all over the place, does crazy stuff. You
Mhm.
kinda need a guy like that in your scramble group. Um, then I'd have to get someone from the older generation to pay respect to them. Probably, Jack or Ronald Palmer. It's a kind of a toss. I only have one spot left. Trying to think who played better at the Masters throughout their career. I don't know off the top of my head. I guess I'll
Uh,
take
I think it's Jack Nicklaus, but
yeah, I'll have to take Jack then, I think. Yeah, Golden
the
Bear.
Golden Bear. Yeah.
How about you? What's your 4 looking like?
Oh man. Well, I wouldn't help at all. So,
That's true. I'd just be
yeah.
there, just
I
cheering,
just
and
feel like
clapping, like, "Let's go." I
this
do.
is awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't help at all. I would go with John Daly.
Ooh,
I got to
good
see what
answer.
that's like.
Yeah.
It's got to be a good time, right?
Oh, yeah. Gotta be.
So John Daly, let's
Okay.
go. Shoot, this is tough. All
Are you grabbing
time.
97 Tiger also?
I don't see how you can pass up 97
Yeah.
Tiger, like
Yeah.
fist bump Tiger.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you
Um,
just need one more then, I would
yeah, I
think.
feel like I'd need somebody who can just like drain putts
Yeah.
because those two are like you have your long range and mid range guy.
Mhm. I mean, Jack or Arnold both are
Yeah,
good
they were
putters. Trying to
great
think of other,
putters. Yeah.
um
All right, I'll switch it up. I'll go Arnold since you went
okay.
Jack. So yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice.
So yeah, I would contribute to nothing. So
Yeah, and it'd be the best. I don't care if I also, if talk about playing Gus, I don't care if I went to Augusta and shot 120, that'd be probably the best day of my life just
yeah,
to see. Also, I forgot to ask real quick before we go. Did you go to the Masters? I see you got the Masters hat on, or did you
Grandpa did. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
gotcha, gotcha.
yeah. I took this from him.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yep. He went with. He used to work for Shell Gasoline,
Uh-huh,
so he
interesting,
was in there. He
nice.
was a chemist for them, and so
Huh,
they like took their lab down. Yeah, it was kind of neat.
oh, yeah, that's awesome.
All right,
Yeah.
final question here,
Okay.
and this isn't tied to the Masters per se, but what's the one thing, or maybe name one or two things that you see your average Joe golfer do that's just absolutely cringeworthy?
Oh, man, that's also a good question, I don't know.
Thank you.
You see so much stuff on Twitter now where it's someone doing something, it's like, "Oh, shrink the game, why are they doing this?" I'm kind of like I said, golf being for anyone, like, do whatever you want if you have fun with it, as long as you're not, like, disrupting the course or, like, harming someone near you. So I guess the most cringe thing I thought of one. For some reason at Chippewa, I worked there as a carboy. There was like a trend a few years ago where people kept trying to take their shirts off and tan the golf course. I'm like, what are you doing? I don't care if you're playing your local par 3 course
Yeah.
that has rocks in the bunker. Like you should not be golfing shirtless. This is not like a beach to get your tan on. So that's probably the most cringe thing I've ever seen golfing is
Okay.
people that are trying to tan at the golf course.
All right.
Outs-
I pass
outside,
that check. No,
okay, nice.
I have.
Outside that, I don't know if I got anything more, maybe. I don't know. What you got anything that comes to mind?
Uh I s- I don't like it when people throw clubs. I can't stand it.
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't know. That drives me insane.
Yeah.
Um
The rage monster. Every friend group has one, and
yeah.
if they're not having a good day, your group's not having a good day because, like you said, they're throwing clubs and they're cussing, and it's like,
Yeah.
"Come on, man."
Yeah. Um Yeah, I would say disrespecting the course. You know,
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
you pivot on the green or you like
Mhm.
down a club somewhere and it's just like,
Yeah,
come
that's because now you're messing up the people that have
on.
taken all
Yeah.
the time taking care of
Right.
it, and yeah.
And the
So,
next group
yeah, I'd
behind
probably say
you.
it's most cringeworthy also is
Okay.
people just messing up the course. That's
Yeah.
a good answer.
Respect the
Yeah.
game. Respect the
Yeah,
game. That's what we're
exactly.
saying.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
perfect.
Well, Philo,
Yeah,
thanks for
yeah,
joining us.
yeah,
We'll get this video out here this week, and
yeah, it was a good
hopefully we
conversation.
enjoy this week at the Masters.
Yes, sir, looking forward to it.
All
Thanks for
right.
having me. It was great conversation.
Yeah, no problem. I
Yeah,
enjoyed it as well.
alright. Thank you.